not enough. Here we go, Charlie Cox, ready to talk? Charlie, you ready?
What's up, guys?
So Charlie, how's it going today?
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming.
Excellent. So I think let's just start off getting right to it. A question a lot of people want to know. When are we getting the third season of Daredevil, man?
So I don't know is the answer to that question. We have recently finished filming it. So
you're saying you have spoilers?
So I have a ton of spoilers that I'm here to share with you today. So I don't know. I mean, it'll come out when Netflix decide they're going to let it come out. So, you'll find out before I will.
Can you give us any kind of tease?
No. I live in fear of answering those questions, rule of thumb is just don't say anything.
You gotta talk to Tom Holland, man.
Oh,
he's always like spoiling things.
Oh, he is? Yeah.
So hey, while we sit and talk a little bit, why don't you guys start getting to the microphones, lining up for questions. I'm sure you guys have a lot of things to ask, and we want to get to y'all. So one thing I'm curious about, Charlie, is you're from England, obviously. I'm not a geography major, but what's the comic book fandom like over there? Like, do people freak out when Daredevil turns into a demon there, or do they freak out when the new movies come out? I mean, what's it like?
Do you know, I actually have no idea. It's a good question. I guess that we in the UK have our fair share of crazy fans, but I don't know that it's anything like America. Is
that good or bad?
I think it's good. The fans in this country are, they take enthusiasm to a whole new level, which is which is great. So, and I'm sure there's some huge comic book fans in the UK, but since I started this journey that I've been on with Daredevil, I haven't really spent much time in the UK, so I don't know. I haven't been there to do a convention yet, so maybe I should do that.
Do they have conventions there?
Yeah, There's a big one in London, I was supposed to go to one up in the north of England, in Blackpool at one point, but I couldn't go in the end. As many of you have reminded me, I was supposed to be here last year. I've never been told off by so many comic book fans in one day. It's amazing. I felt like I was being dragged into the headmaster's office over and over again.
What do they say to you, man? Are they scolding you literally or what?
No, they're being nice about it, but I feel bad. They're like, so... I was supposed to, to a couple of people, I cried when you didn't come. I'm really sorry. But, I made good.
That's cool.
Right?
We've been talking a lot about Daredevil and comic books so far, but, one thing I've been really surprised to find out is how everlasting the fandom for Stardust is. Did you think it was going to be that big? Did you think it was going to be bigger?
Yeah, I thought... Initially when it came out, it was a bit like, huh. It was, I think it came out on the same weekend as Rush Hour 3. And it was just, and I went to see Rush Hour 3, So it kind of, initially, it's hard to know when you're part of it. You don't really know what because you're only surrounded by people who are telling you how great it is, and so it's hard to quantify what the reaction was like. But there was definitely a sense that it had underperformed in terms of the numbers, and of course, this is a business. It's all about money, and so I remember there was a disappointment that it hadn't done better at the movie theaters. But it was well received by the critics, and then it's 10 years anniversary last year, and it's had this really lovely kind of life ever since then. And people, I often meet people who love that film and have had. I get a lot of like men who would claim they were dragged to see it. Like, who turned out they really liked it, you know? So that's fun. That's always nice.
That's cool. Hey, let's go to our first question. What you got?
Hi.
This is Claire Temple, by the way. I met her earlier. She's Claire. Yeah. And I tell you that she's not an actual nurse, so if you get injured, don't go anywhere near her.
As an educator, I am always interested to know if there was anybody that inspired you, teacher or otherwise.
As an actor.
An actor or just.
Oh wow,
for a
yeah,
hard time?
yeah. So actually, I have a kind of a cool story, which I'm not sure that I've ever shared before. But I had an English teacher who was also the theatre. He was head of the drama department at my school, and I did plays with him, and I was also in his English class, and he was really, a lot of people didn't like him. They found him really strict, and his name, they called him Bullet, because he was, I don't know why, because he was mean. But I had a very odd relationship with him, because I was terrible at coming class, like just really not a good student. But I was one of his actors that he really liked, and he would give me like the good parts. So he kind of like loved and hated me depending on what scenario we were operating in. But a very sad story is he cast me as the lead role in a play in my final year, and in the summer, we cast me at the end of what we call the Michaelmas term, and then we were going to start rehearsals in the summer term, and he died in the holidays. Yeah, and he was kind of an inspiration. We went on to do the play. Another teacher directed it as a kind of a tribute to him. But I've always had that kind of sneaking suspicion that he has been kind of looking out for me a little bit. So yeah, Mr. Hargreaves.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah.
Murdock up next.
Question that's been bothering me for a while. I noticed watching the show. Why does Matt wear a wristwatch?
Is that the first time you've heard that?
That is the first time I've heard it. It's a Braille watch.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell from the screen.
Well, yeah, we don't get an opportunity to show that very often, but it's a Braille watch. So the way that it works is it has the glass cover bit, but you can snap that off, and you can use your finger to read the time.
Oh wow.
So, but I guess if, people who are actually visually impaired, they use their phones now. They have audio transmit. You can swipe the phone a certain way. It tells you what time it is and whatnot. But I guess Matt Murdock's kind of old-fashioned in that way, and he likes to have a wristwatch. Plus it looks cool, right? And probably does some damage, if he gets into it.
Second quick question I had been debating somebody about is the red suit a jumpsuit or a jacket and pants? Because the red suit puts you in.
It's one piece. It's one piece. I know that because of the amount of time it takes me to go to the bathroom. it should be two pieces. It's not.
Hey, let's follow up on something there. So I know you've won an award for kind of portraying a blind person accurately. So what went into your studying to try to make sure that it is an accurate portrayal?
I worked with a gentleman called Joe Strecce, who's affiliated with the American Foundation for the Blind. He himself has been legally blind for 20 years. And when I got the job, I knew that it was important to get that aspect of it right. It's quite difficult it's quite complicated to portray a visually impaired person on camera, because it's hard to explain. If you're having a conversation with someone who is visually impaired, you can tell that their eyes aren't looking at you. On camera, that's not always the case, because the camera often isn't what we call a direct POV. So the camera's often to the side, or it's over here, or something. And so I kind of have had to adapt what I do based on where the camera is a little bit, But I worked with a guy, and I filmed him a lot. there was one day where I put on a blindfold and we went out in the street and I joked it was a literal case of the blind leading the blind. You know, but it was really cool. There was this one moment where we were walking down this street and I was terrified because it was in New York and there's just traffic everywhere. This sound of cars and I'm convinced we're about to get run over. And we're walking down this quieter street on the sidewalk and he suddenly was like, wait, hold up. I think you're about to walk into a wall, which was weird because we were on a sidewalk. So, and I took my blindfold off, and he was right. There was like a kink in the sidewalk, and there was a wall right in front of me. And he knew that just because of the sound, you know, the echolocation, which just blew my mind. But that's so Daredevil, right? I was like, dude, they hired the wrong guy, man. Yeah.
All right, next question.
Hello.
Hi.
So being a part of technically being a part of the MCU, have you ever like interacted with the movie part of the universe and the actors of the MCU?
You know, I've met a couple of them, but other than just meeting them, you know, no. I keep wanting them to put me in the movie, and they don't, so I don't know what to tell you. But I used to know Tom Hiddleston before either of us were and Andrew Garfield is a friend of mine from years back. Before, you know, I remember when he got Spider-Man. I remember thinking, oh, that's so cool. You know, he's going to play a Marvel superhero. But I was like, for me, I was like, there's no way that's ever going to happen. That ship has sailed. You know what I mean? Like, I was already 30, and I'm like, I'm not, you know. And then this came along, so it was such a cool, pleasant surprise. Although I'd never heard of Daredevil, so when I thought it was like when they said Daredevil, and my first thought was like, oh, like, you know, the motorcyclist guy, Evel Knievel, yeah. I thought, oh cool, I'll get to ride a bunch of motorcycles. Thank you.
One other quick question. Spoilers. Were you affected by the snap?
What?
Were you affected by the snap?
Did you see the new Infinity War?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Sorry, I haven't seen it. Hey, I've been filming Daredevil season 3. You want me to? I'm gonna just quickly put an end to a very cheeky. There's one question, guys. Otherwise, you can't have like 2 parts to every question.
So I want to first say I actually thought you always did really good with actually staring kind of to the side when you were looking at people. It's actually something I always told because I thought you actually did a pretty good portrayal.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick a character that you actually liked out of the Marvel universe, what would be the one you think was your favorite?
Well, Daredevil obviously is now my favorite, you know. But I don't know. They're all kind of cool. I mean, like, it's probably the obvious thing to say, but I imagine filming Spider-Man would be really fun. Yeah. So you guys gonna meet Tom? Is he here today? Or tomorrow? Yeah, that's pretty exciting, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, just a reminder for you doing questions, speak into the mic so the whole room can hear you.
Yeah.
All right. Hi.
Hi, great outfit.
Thank you.
Did you make it?
I did.
That's very cool.
I was one of the people who cried last year. It was my birthday. You were supposed to be here, so you kind of ruined my birthday.
Oh,
But it's okay because Eldon and Gregory were phenomenal by themselves. So.
Eldon and who?
Gregory Cantor.
Oh, yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah.
Anyway, they were great. I'm terrible with names. So, my question for you is, in Daredevil season 1, we see Matt and Foggy take language classes to impress women. Have you ever done something to
Wait,
impress
what
women?
happens?
Something about avocados at law.
Oh yeah. Sorry, in episode 10.
Yeah.
We talk about with the flashback episode. Yeah, I remember. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So have you ever done anything just to impress a girl before, and what?
No one's listening.
I mean, like anything that'll work. You know? Like, yeah, who hasn't?
Okay, so
I'm trying to think of it like an actual example.
I'm asking for a friend, but what worked?
That's funny. Someone told me a really. I was speaking to someone. I genuinely can't think of any examples, but it's normally just like you lie about something, right? That's what it is. You know, you just, someone. I do. Okay, I remember one. I went on a date with someone. I asked someone on a date, and I was like, "Do you want to go out?" And she was like, "Yeah, I really want to see. Like, are you excited to see the new Harry Potter film?" And it was like 7 part 2, like the last one or something, and I had seen none of these films. And I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited to see that film. Yeah, so there you go, just lies.
Hey, Spider-Gwen, how you doing?
Hi.
Pretty good. So I want to know, what was it like preparing for Deadpool physically?
Deadpool?
I mean, sorry, Daredevil. Sorry.
As an actor, I've never had the opportunity to kind of. All the characters I've played up until Daredevil have been people that I haven't really had to. It's just acting required, just like learn the lines and say them kind of stuff. And I've always envied other friends of mine, actors who have. Sorry, I don't mean to. I kind of come here a bit. I've always envied people who have had the opportunity to really kind of throw themselves into a role in other areas other than just kind of the character. And so this has been such a cool experience to, I'd never been to the gym before this job. And I got the job and they were like, you need to go to the gym. And so like I started, they gave me a trainer and I'd turn up at the gym and like just follow him around and he'd be like, right, pick that up, jump up there, do all this kind of cool stuff, and then train, do some martial arts and learn how to do fighting, and that's the stuff that I've been doing, and it's been really, really fun. It gets tough, like midway through the season, and the shooting hours are really long, and you got to try and get to the gym in the morning or after work, but no complaints. I feel very grateful to have that opportunity. The great thing about it is, how easy it is to not go to the gym. When your job is to go to the gym a little bit, it's easier because you don't really have any negotiation. You just have to go.
Hi, what's good?
What's going on?
I have a question.
Yeah.
In one of your interviews with Deborah Ann Wall, she mentioned she made a D&D character for you. Have you ever played? Would you if she ran it?
So, yes. So Deborah was trying to explain to me what D&D is, and I was confused because at first I thought she was telling me about DD, which of course is the show that we're both on. And then I was like, oh, that's cool. That sounds really cool. And then a couple of I think she had a game with some of the crew members went to go and play, and they were like, they had a lot, they said it was so cool, it was really fun, but it was 5 hours and it wasn't over. It's and I'm like, that's worse than Monopoly. And so I'm a little frightened to go and start whatever that is, you know what I mean? But it sounds cool. I think I was an elf. Is that right?
A half-elf paladin is what she said.
What did she say?
A half-elf paladin is what she said.
I don't know what you're saying.
That's okay. She can make you learn.
Half-elf.
Yeah, half an elf, so sort of pointy. Not quite pointy, but
What was the last word?
Paladin, knight, shining armor, slay a dragon, that sort of bit.
That's what I am.
Yep.
That feels right.
I think so. I think so.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Charlie.
Hey,
nice
buddy.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, as Matt Murdock, Daredevil, does he hear Yanni or Laurel?
So I had Vincent D'Onofrio introduced me to this, and I heard Yanni. I heard Yanni at first, but then we went upstairs, and I was like, "Oh, show these guys what you just showed me," and we were in a different room, and then I heard Laurel.
There you go.
Yeah. So let's work this out. Hands up, Yanni. Hands up, Laurel. So I think there's more Laurels. Yeah. Hands up who heard both, like me. Yeah, we're the cool ones. Thank you, my friend.
Great question.
What about, wait, go back. What about the blue dress, white dress thing? Isn't that freaky?
It was blue and white, right?
It's blue and black.
Blue and black. That's
Blue
the
and
one.
black.
Yeah, blue and black.
It's blue and black, right? Who solved? Okay, that's definitive now. Thank you.
How you doing, Charlie Cox?
buddy.
I have one question for you. So, since doing Daredevil, what was the hardest fight scene for you to perform in the show so far?
Wait and see.
Oh.
Wait and see. Yeah, we got a cool one coming up.
Who are you fighting?
I can't tell you. Let's try.
A little bit.
Yeah. No. We have something coming up that is the thing I'm most proud of. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
I was also really sad when you weren't here last.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay. Can someone make a list? I'm going to start sending apologies.
It's only one minute. I know it's Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, you've done a lot of like team-ups. You've teamed up with Punisher. You teamed up with the Defenders. Anyone from the MCU, the movie franchise, would you want to team up with as Daredevil?
Well, Matt Murdock used to date Black Widow in the comics, so that'd be cool. But there's, I can't. The thing is, I can't speculate because when I speculate, someone then changes that to, oh, this is happening, and then I get a call from my boss being like, why are you telling people this? There's some pretty cool, iconic characters from the DD world that I'm hoping are going to show up at some point. If we continue to do this show. Yeah, we'll see.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Hey, man.
I was gonna ask if you've ever kept a prop from set, or if you haven't, which one?
So I have a cool story. So when I went to the American Foundation for the Blind, I went to one of their benefits, and they asked me if there was anything that I could donate for the auction. So am I speaking into this? Is that annoying?
No, it's good.
How's it sound to y'all?
Yeah.
Good.
Alright, I can kind of hear it reverberate. You don't have to translate all that. Oh, wait, you changed halfway through. Oh, yeah. That's so funny. Is that confusing? Okay, so here's what happened. It's a really cool story. So I went to my boss and I said, is there anything you can give me to donate to the charity for the auction? And my boss called me up and said, yeah, we can give you the red glasses from season 1. So I was like, that's so cool. So I told the American Foundation for the Blind, and they put it on the registry, and then the night of the gala, we all showed up, and there were loads of things. There was like holidays and, people had donated this, that, and whatever, loads of things. And the glasses weren't there, it was just a picture of them, and I had them framed and signed the thing. And the auction closed at 9:30, and dinner was at 9. So at 9:15, I went to the toilet, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna see what the price is, like how much it raised. And it was like $250 for the glasses. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, fine, I'm buying them. So I paid $500, I put down $500 for them, and I won them. And then at the end of the auction, you have the people who won the thing has to go and pay for them. So I had to line up with everyone, and I was like really embarrassed, but I really wanted the glasses, you know what I mean? So I lined up, and then the woman was like, didn't you donate these? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So now I'm just paying for them. And then they were like, and then I got a call from someone like the next day. They're saying, oh, hi, we're from the American Foundation of Blind. We just want to coordinate getting the glasses to the person who won the glasses. And I'm like, it's already taken care of. So yeah, the answer to your question is I have the glasses. Yeah.
So do you ever put them on, just go to like a coffee shop and just see what happens, or not?
No, but because I'm too frightened I'd like lose them or something. It's so cool, my glasses. And they're all chewed and manky because I chew the ends of them. So I mean, in the end, it's probably good that someone else didn't win them. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Cox.
Hi.
I just want to ask you this one question. Do you think you portrayed the character Daredevil better than Ben Affleck? I was questioning you.
Personally, I think. Hear me out. I'm just laughing because I get asked this a lot, and sadly, I'm going to say the same thing that I've said before. I happen to think Ben Affleck's performance as Daredevil is fantastic. I really like his Matt Murdock. I think I actually watched it and I stole a lot of stuff. Here's what you're learning about Charlie Cox. He's a thief and a liar. I think he does a really good job. I don't like the film, the original Daredevil film. I don't think that worked particularly well. And the reason I don't think it worked particularly well is because I think what we discovered with the show is that the tone of the character suits a slightly darker, more sinister feel. In my opinion, the best Daredevil comics are the ones that are geared to a slightly more mature audience. And I think that what the show captures is that level of, sinister, dark tone, I guess. But I like Ben Affleck's Matt Murdock. Thanks. Thanks for putting me on the spot like that.
Hi, Blue.